What's going on, everyone? So Kendrick Perkins is reporting that if LeBron James requests a trade, Rich Paul likely won't shut down any interested teams like he did last year per ESPN NBA. There ain't no holding back or holding him back. Here's the thing. Kendrick Perkins also said this past offseason on national television, essentially that Trae Young was going to go to the Lakers, and he was told personally, right? He didn't say Trae Young. He said, I can't name the name. But, then he went on to describe who the player was, and everyone was like, oh, so it's Trae Young. And we're still waiting for Trae Young to be a Laker. That still hasn't happened. Look, Kendrick Perkins has a tendency to just say stuff. We've seen that. It's not a really reliable source. Brian Windhorst, who, especially when it comes to Lakers, isn't really the most reliable either. But he did say that, look, LeBron James has had multiple opportunities to just leave the Lakers, and he hasn't, right? He's had multiple opportunities to go elsewhere. I mean, even originally, when he first signed with the Lakers, at the time, it didn't really make sense, right? Like, if he wanted to just solely win, right? If it was just about championships, there was 10 other teams he could have went to that he probably would have won multiple championships by now. But instead, he went to the Lakers because he even said that's where his family wanted to go. It's where his kids wanted to go to school. It's where his wife wanted to be. And that's why he's in LA. Now, the only team that I could see him leaving the Lakers for would be the Warriors, because it's close enough and he's rich enough to where he could just go back and forth, right, if he really wanted to, right? Go buy a private jet if he wants to and just to travel every day. It's 30-minute plane ride, right? I could see doing something like that. Warriors obviously want LeBron James. They want to pair a star alongside Steph Curry. Also, I just think, you got to remember, LeBron has a no-trade clause. So you can't just trade him wherever. You can't just trade him anywhere you want to go. But if LeBron does, let's say he did want out, right, well then the Warriors, I think, would be the place that he goes to. Him and Steph get to play. And from a basketball fan, just a basketball fan, removing my Laker bias, I would love to see that. LeBron and Steph teaming up, try to go win another championship together. Can they go win 5 and 6 together? That could be a lot of fun. The Laker fan in me is I still want to see it, but just on the Lakers with him and Anthony Davis, right? But look, I just don't buy LeBron leaving. It's one of those things, I'll believe it when I see it. Because, again, he's had multiple opportunities to leave. He could have left at any time. He could have requested a trade any time. The Lakers even were willing to trade him if that's what he wanted to do, right? But Rich Paul didn't want him to do it. Look, Rich Paul, if LeBron really wanted to be traded last season, you think Rich Paul's stopping him, right? I understand Rich Paul's logic of, I don't want him to go to another team because it messes his reputation. The people that hate him are going to use him going, to Miami and then back to Cleveland and then to LA. And there's always that excuse. The people that, support him, think he's the greatest, whatever, right? They're not going to care if he goes to Golden State, right? And most basketball fans, even people that hate LeBron and hate Steph, right? Most of them are I would love to see them play together because it would just be so much fun as a duo, right? It's man, and they're at the later end of their careers, right? So it's not prime Steph and prime LeBron. Both guys are, Steph is still great, LeBron is still great, but they're still, they're in the twilight, the end of their careers, right? But if for whatever reason, let's say LeBron really does want out, then fine, trade him. To me, if you're the Lakers, you got to pick a direction. Right? If there is any kind of inclination that LeBron might leave in the offseason or this might be it, then you got to trade him. You got to work with him to trade him, right? Last thing the Lakers need to do is go and make a bunch of moves, and then LeBron ends up leaving in the offseason, and it's so you made all those new moves and you traded all your assets for nothing, right? You need to find out. So if I'm the Lakers, if I'm Rob and Jeannie, I'm sitting down with LeBron and I'm asking him, what do you want to do? Do you want us to go make a push and try to make the best trades possible, try to go compete and win a championship this year? Or do you want to go elsewhere? And if he's hey, no, I want to stay. I want to be here. I want to, go make the moves, go make the trades. I'm not going anywhere, right? Don't blow it. But make the moves, then fine, go make the trades, go make the moves, and try to push for an NBA championship. Hit up the Nets, do whatever. I still think you go get Zach LaVine. But if LeBron's like, you know what, like if you can send me to the Warriors, then I think you do that. You get the best package you can. If I'm the Lakers, it's starting with Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. Probably got to take on like an Andrew Wiggins or like a Draymond or something, which is fine. And then I think you got to trade Anthony Davis, right? Like, if you're going to trade LeBron, you might as well just trade AD and hit the reset button here, right? See if you can turn, Andrew Wiggins into something, even if it's a couple seconds, whatever, right? The problem this year, and this is why I don't see it happening this year, is the Lakers don't own their pick. If the Lakers own their pick, then yeah, I could see them, hey, let's have a fire sale here, right? LeBron wants out. LeBron wants to leave. Anthony Davis. Like, I don't think it's something, because you're going to get a huge return for Anthony Davis regardless. And in the offseason, if he wants to go to the Warriors, like, he'd have to work out a sign and trade with the Warriors anyway, right? So either way, you could still get the Warriors package. Either way, like, the Warriors aren't going to go anywhere. They're still going to want LeBron, and they're going to need to figure out what to do with Kuminga and stuff. The only question would be is if they already trade for Kuminga and stuff, then that can make things a little difficult. But, or if they get another star, whether it's like a Jimmy Butler or something like that. But even then, send him to Cleveland for like Darius Garland or something. Now you got your point guard of now in the future, right? Like whatever you got to do. If LeBron really wants out, right, I don't see LeBron leaving, right, until his other kid gets in, right? Like Bronny, he's grown, he's on the Lakers, he's living his life, right? His wife, they still have their other kids. I don't see LeBron going, and if he goes anywhere, I don't think it's going to go anywhere far, right? Like, I don't think he's going to go to the Nets or something like that, right? Like, I think it's like the Warriors, or he'll stay with the Lakers, is what I think it'll be. Maybe the Clippers, because Ty Lue's there, but even then, I don't think he does that, right? I don't think he would go from the Lakers, because he's also he's a man of history. It's one of the reasons why he went to the Lakers. And then before that, it was like the Knicks, right? Like, I think if he was going to go anywhere, it's the Warriors. If LeBron wants to go to the Warriors, fine. Trade him to the Warriors, and then try to get Anthony Davis, for the best package possible. Or maybe you keep him this season and try to win as many games as possible, so that way you at least don't get, a lottery pick or anything like that. Right, because I do think, if you get the right pieces, right, say you turn LeBron into, like, Moody and Kuminga and Wiggins, right? Like, I still think, like, you're probably not a play-in team or anything like that, but I think you might be good enough. You're not going to be, like, a bottom-feeding, dwelling team, I don't think. It's possible, but I think other guys will step up. But at that point, there's an argument, though, like, okay, if LeBron wants to leave, just have the fire sale, right? Is there a way you could get your pick back from Atlanta? Would Atlanta maybe do something like that? But the problem is, like, what would you have to give up, right? Like, I don't think that they're going to, maybe Reeves. Could you trade Reeves and go get, your first and, I don't know, something else, whatever else, just to, like, get your pick? Because at that point, you should just be trading everybody, right? Like, at that point, I think anybody that's over, like 24 should be traded. Because you're going to spend the next, 2, 3, 4 years trying to rebuild. And I think if it's me, I think you trade LeBron to the Warriors. I think you trade Anthony Davis to the Thunder. I think the Thunder would give you a lot. I think if you can get something like, Dort and J-Dub, I think that's great, right? Like, if when all is said and done, if you could turn, Anthony Davis and LeBron James into, 4 firsts and say Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, J-Dub, and like Dort. I think it's a pretty good spot. I think it's a pretty good position to rebuild, right? J-Dub as like a third option is like a 20-point-a-game scorer. What does he look like as your first, second option? Jonathan Kuminga, I think, has like legit star potential, and now he'll actually be on a team where he'll be able to do that. You'd have young athleticism, right? Like, then I wouldn't hate taking the picks and going and take Jalen Ichifino in 2 firsts at that point and go get Kessler, right? Like, at that point, all you need is a point guard, right? You can just draft your point guard, or maybe you go and maybe you make a move for Trey or something, right at that point. Right? Imagine if you had like Trey, Dort, J-Dub, Kaminga, and like Kessler as like your foundation going forward. Right? Like there's ways to kind of rebuild and rebuild pretty quickly. Like have like a really good solid team. I don't know about a contender, but I mean, Lakers aren't a contender right now. Right? Like I would love to have like a young exciting team that's like a play-in team or something like that than, like what we have currently. Now, obviously, if the Lakers go and make some trades and moves, that could change things. But, like, I don't know. I think that there's a path to get there if you could work it out. But it's just at what cost? What does it take? I don't see LeBron leaving. I don't. I never say never, right? So I don't believe nothing is 100%, right? Especially in sports. See it all the time. But I think you stay as far away from any type of trade for LeBron, at least this season. Work it out, see how this season goes. But I do think you need to at least have a sit down with LeBron, have a real conversation, and be like, hey, what do you want? What do you want to do? Do you really want us to trade you? Because if we're going to trade you, then fine, we'll trade you, whether it's now or in the offseason. But like we're not. I just don't want the Lakers to sell the farm and then LeBron leaves and now you got to trade Anthony Davis and now you're stuck with like a bunch of like vets for nothing, right? Like I just don't want that to happen. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea? Do you hate the idea? Kind of mixed in the middle? Are you in between? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See